All right, guys. So today we're going to be going over the DCA plan. I'm going to be showing you where it is located. Also, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be trying to answer them all. It doesn't need to be about the DCA. It can be about strategies, trading, whatever you guys want to know, right? Basically, this is a free for all. So basically, just shoot out your questions, and I'll try to answer them as the best of my capabilities. And also, Piper is going to be here with us throughout his phone. He's not going to be able to use his setup. He's doing some of his things that need to do, but he's going to be giving us audio feedback, as you guys have heard. So let's get it. No, it's Ernest. What is it? Is that John? Is that John Cena? No, that was gonna be Ernest. Yeah, absolutely. So let me get started sharing my screen. And by the way, guys, at any point, feel free to comment. Feel free to let me know, to speak up, or to write into the side chat. Remember, that's what we're here for. All right. So this is it. This is, by the way, Tyler's account. All right. So if you know who Tyler is, so shout out to Tyler. He is in here. All right, so one of the things that we're going to be seeing is that we have the Piper Academy logo to my left. There we go. We clicking here. And first of all, where do you find your sessions? You find them all the way up here. Just like, for example, let's go over Chart Prime and you see events, right? And then you have all of the events for Chart Prime, as well as you do exactly the same thing here, right? Into the events, click the events, and you'll see all of the events that we have programmed for the week. Another important thing is when you have a live event, you're going to be seeing here, and you only need to click listen in. All right. So let's go and take a look at what's going on with the DCA plan, which for some reason I don't have it in here. All right. So let's see, PDC. Oh, here it is. Here it is. All right. Something important before I click in here is that if you don't see some channels and you're in this class, that means that you're premium, and for some reason, Discord is kind of like playing hide and seek with you, all right? So just go over to your browse channel, and then you see the welcome category, and then you see whether if you're viewing that channel or not. I don't know why this was hidden. All right, so basically just go for members channel, take a look at BTC DCA strategy, and click the follow button here, altcoin DCA strategy. And you can see right now, you can click it right there. There we go. Or if not, just click view, and it will take you to the channel to see if this is something that you want to keep track. And then you just click, you know, the little check mark in here, right? We also have class recordings and many other things. Make sure that you check out the browse channel for a full review of all of the channels that you have access to. All right. After that, you scroll down to the members channel here. You have that's where you have the members chat. Sorry, this is where everybody just participate. And here's where important things start happening. BTC DCA strategy. All right. So every single Monday, Piper is going to come here. He's going to check out into the cryptoverse. This is a paid service, and also he has developed a strategy around this, right? Which has to do with DCAing X amount of times, all right, based on the risk that we have. So the lower the risk, all right, the greater the amount of DCA. Let's just bring this up and let's see if I can have it. There we go. Much better. So basically, when we are getting when we're cooling off, like into the green, bluish zones, that's where we're going to be going heavy on their DCA. All right. And then when we start getting into the yellow, orange, we're going to go maybe one time DCA or something like that. You'll see it right here. For example, 0 to 0.1 of risk. All right. Then 0.1 to 0.2 of risk until we have very high risk on the red. And usually on the red, when we get out of the bands, that is not being shared in this section. But when Piper is available, he'll show you how those bands look like. Well, then those are when we start taking profits out of the DCA. All right, so this is what is important about this trading strategy. Usually, and this is the case, or it was the case for myself, I had a DCA strategy, all right, which was a 3% of drawdown, I consider to DCA or not. And I will pair it with my oscillator. I'm not using the exact same strategy at this point. I'm mainly using this one. And one quick tipping here, which came from Buck, is that Buck actually mentioned that usually Tuesdays are one of the best days for adding to your DCA. All right, so shout out to Buck in here. Oh, he's not in here anymore. All right, so just bear in mind that this is going to go every single Monday. You can choose to do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Just do a little bit of a searching here. For example, when we are for example, today morning, we were somewhere around here. In fact, we were right there in the 15 minutes, right? And look at how far we went for your DCA, and then breakout, retest, and now we're getting ready to maybe either stabilize or start making a range. But again, it was a good area for DCAing. All right, let's go to the 4 hours. Let me just clear this up so we have a much better perspective. And look at that, Monday, having a breakout. Maybe Tuesday, we could be going somewhere around 98, 96. All right. Also, keep in mind that if you do not DCA Monday, right, you could be at risk, right, that this could be bouncing up. So if you want to grab the both of the best worlds, I would say that, oh, come on, leave that as is. I would say that check out your price action, then go to Discord, and then let me mute the Discord for a second because this is getting recorded, and oh, here it's been perfect. And it's gonna be playing out on the recording. All right, so you check out how many DCA times you should be doing. All right, let's just say that your DCA amount is $100. All right, so today you should be placing, or this week is gonna be $200. So consider if you want to catch maybe the best price action, well then DCAing with $100 today, and then looking for the next area of support and DCAing there for tomorrow, or at least add an alert. All right. Another thing that I would say is that whenever you choose to DCA, set an alert for at a 100% move, right? That average down your position to the day, if that makes sense. So you place your, for example, I don't know, let's just call it right here. You set your another alert, and if for any reason I DCA'd $100 in here, and tomorrow I need to average up another 100, well then my average entry is still gonna go here. All right. Do not make the mistake to go in, for example, a Thursday, almost at the other DCA week, and add more than you should, right? Especially not when we are in an uptrend, right? If you miss out on one DCA, if you miss out on one DCA and we are in a very well, on a downtrend or a very good area of entry, that's what you might consider to push a little bit more money. But in this case, like for example, last week DCA wasn't here, and now we're DCAing up above that price action, I would say not to push more money. Why? Because we have a higher risk, and therefore also you're going to be pulling up your DCA price, and that's not something that you want to do. In fact, DCA is to try to average down the price action, and that's why we follow this plan, because the greater the risk or the lower the risk is that we're going lower in price action, right? So the lower we are, that's where we duplicate or increase our DCA amount to pull the price, the average price down. Hey, what's up, brother? I thought it would have taken you longer. Nice.
No, we just got it done. So I just got home. I was driving while it started. So
nice,
I'm here. What's that?
Perfect. Let me just wrap this up, and then I'll throw it back to you. So today's DCA times 2. So basically, if you are looking for a possible DCA amount, just do it twice. And let me pass it over to Piper, because Piper, how do we design, or how do we choose how much is going to be our single unit for DCA? For example, let's just say that throughout the month, I earned, I don't know, I have $500 to spare. How would I divide that in my 4 weeks of DCA?
So you would have, so let's say you had $500 a month that you could DCA. I would say, some months you've got 4 months have 4.3 weeks, and we're 100 for your amount, right? And then you want to cut that down again because, for example, I'm gonna pull this up here. There we go. When we look at this, for like we're doing ×1 from 6 to 7, ×2 for 5 to 6 on the wristbands, 4 to 5 is ×3, so on and so forth. So now keep in mind, if you very rarely hit that 0 to 0.1 down there at the bottom. I think that might be behind my head. Nope, it's not. That 0 to 1, you very rarely ever hit that. However, you can. And at that level, you would be on a ×1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you want to make sure that if you can afford $500 a month, that you're not maxing yourself out on your weekly DCA, and you're able to build that money up. So if you could do $500 a month, then obviously go ahead and put your money into something that's making you a little bit of cash, like maybe USDC or something like that. But you're only going to use that percentage, that 25%, $25, right? Weekly, because like this week it would be 50. But if you look down here, like you have a period here. Let's go to this most recent season here, and let me isolate these over and talk about this. Because if you're looking at this on weeklies, these are daily here, but if you looked at this at the weekly, you're talking about 25 times 6 there. That's $300 there. A week later, you're talking about $250. So you need to have that money built up for those lower times that you're not necessarily feeding in now. Because if you were just going to lump sum DCA, you're better off to just, let it, if it drops 10%, close out, keep 90% and sell, right? But when you're looking at dynamic DCA, you are adding more firepower to the retracement back up as it comes down. So you want to make sure that even if you can't afford that full amount, you're not spending all of it, so that later on when you are at those levels that you need even more than your $500 per month, you have that extra dry powder built up. So me personally, I would say on your setup, I would go with like 125, and then I would do like $35 weekly as your base. That would be your DCA base times the multiplier. So if you were at this period of, here where it's a 50, right? You'd be doing at $35, you'd be doing $70. That's ×2. But if you were here in this range in the 4s, that's going to be a 3x, and that's going to be looking at like $105, right? So that's how I would approach that, with making sure that you've got the biggest amount of dry powder when you need to, when you get down here to these very high levels of DCA amount. So just to show you guys too, let me get a drink of water. I've just been out in the sun, out in the desert sun for like the past hour training with my dog. So got to stay hydrated. Drink water. If you take a look here, I want to show you guys something. Time in wristbands. So if you take a look at time in wristbands on Bitcoin over its entire history, and we'll go percentage here, you can see here that the 0 to 0.1, it's only spent 2.49% of its entire history at that level. Okay. Majority, just like the high levels, that's been in the 9 to 10 band, which by the way is where you were completely pulled out of the markets. It's been in that level only 0.35% of the time. 1.47% in the 80 to 90 wristband, and then 2.68% in the 7 to 8. So 7 to 8, which is where you take 30% profit, is about the same amount of time that is spent in that level as what it is in 0 to 1. The majority of the time, it's 3 to 4. And if you're looking at this, we do take profit at 7, take profit at 8, take profit at 9. This is our DCA baseline. 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. So you're spending a majority of your time at $25, doing $100 per week anyways. That's where the majority of your time right there. That's your sweet spot, right? And so if you can afford the $100 because you got 500 a month and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna do 100 a week, that's the majority of your purchase time anyways. But when it goes into these lower levels where it's going to be 125, then that baseline, that you're keeping that extra money as dry powder for these times. And that's all I wanted to point out. If you guys aren't aware, um, Coinbase pays up to $30,000. You can make money in USDC. Right now, it's like 4.18 that I'm making on USDC there. So the money that I'm not investing on a weekly basis that's sitting in stable coins is making over 4% interest, much better than what my bank pays me. And also Robinhood pays 4% on Robinhood Gold, which only costs $5 a month for that. So there's a couple of ways that you guys can put money in stable coins and have it sitting there for your dry powder while it's also making some additional money too. So, and I will open it up on the floor for any questions that anyone has. And let me check out the chat here. Username said, well, let me go up here higher first. 18.7% growth rate a day. I checked. Should be better now. Google it. Is there better? Week 10, baby. So consistent. Okay. Crypto alt delete. What if I have a single chunk that was taken out of another investment that I cashed out of? If you have a big chunk, I still don't recommend aping in. And I think that you're always going to do better dollar cost averaging, because as soon as you ape in, you're at the mercy of the market. If it goes down, you automatically have lost money. If it goes up, you've automatically made more money. But we're looking at risk to reward, and dollar cost averaging is controlling the flow of it, just blowing your load. And now I'm spent and that's it. And if it goes down, I'm watching money erase. There's no advantage to market pullbacks like there is with DCA, if that makes sense. How can you strategically optimize profit taking from a DCA cryptocurrency portfolio to maximize returns while minimizing capital gains tax liabilities? Holding over 12 months, username. That's the only way. You got to hold over 12 months in order to take profits. And the whole point is that, yeah, you're going to pay taxes on it for capital gains. But if it's over 12 months, it's a long-term capital gain versus a short-term capital gain. And the whole purpose of taking that profit is so that we can take profits to compound back in later. Let me go back over here and take a look at this chart, and I'll just show you an example.
I got a question for you, Piper, about capital gains. Is USDT and USDC counts as capital gain?
USDC, the money earned on the 4% is earned income on USDC.
So, all right. So let's just say that I have Bitcoin, all right? And I am doing DCA Bitcoin. Now it's time to take some profits. If I take profits not in USDD, but in USDT or USDC, am I going to be triggering capital gain?
Still a tax event. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I thought because
just
it was still
from Bitcoin. Just like if you moved from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you have sold that asset. It's the equivalent of saying that I'm going to sell Tesla and buy Amazon. You still have the capital gains tax on Tesla.
Well, yeah, in that case, because you need to get out of Tesla, the only way to get out of Tesla, you cannot get out of Tesla directly to Amazon. You have to go through the US, right? The USD.
Yes, but when you swap, well, yes, you're swapping from one asset to the other, you're still leaving that chain. That asset is gone. Trust me on this.
Got it. I mean,
out of an asset, whether it's a stable coin or to another token, it is a taxable event every time.
Perfect. I mean, I'm not trying to find a way around it. I just, like, it's different here in Mexico. Like, as long as you don't cash out in Mexican pesos, you're fine. You're not triggering anything.
Cool. Zinzin said, yes, I'm making interest on Robinhood Cash. Cool. Okay, so that's the best way to do it. And just put your extra money, if you're going to have this set amount for DCA and it's not hitting that full weekly amount because it's only an X1 or X2, then make sure you're putting the extra money to make the 4% there until you get to the higher risk bands, if that makes any sense. So that's going to be the best way. Uphold is 4.5%. There you go. That's another way to do it. Now,
Yeah,
if you buy
also you're being shady
USDC and you
again.
use that, you got to watch that. Those Mexicans down there, man. They're shady, shady. Especially if they're politicians. Now, if you buy USDC and use that as a purchase, not taxable, as USDC hasn't outperformed the dollar. Correct username. I want to move to Mexico. OC shady. All right, so let's talk about the whole intent of why we would take profits instead of just letting it run, right? Because we want to take big profits. And I just want to show you guys a simple one here. I'm going to go over here just to show you what this would look like if we had bought back in, because we got a lot of new people here. Some of the members have seen this, but most have not. So let me go in here and go to 2021. And we're going to go to November 21st, or November 11th, I mean, November 11th, there it is, 2021 to March 2024. And if you look at
Did we lost you or was
range,
it just me?
I'm here.
Oh, got it.
Okay. If you take a look here at this chart, we broke out and hit that profit taking range. Okay. So at that point, we would sell 30% of our total token count. Let's go look at this. We're doing $50 weekly dynamic DCA, right, on Tuesdays. We've put in $21,400. We only bought 121 out of 182 weeks. We are up 275%. Okay. We don't want to watch this 275% gains go back into another bear market and erase all of it and then ride it the next time, right? I mean, you can if you want, but me personally, I want to take as much of this money as I can and put it back in at the next bottoms, right? Instead of doing $50, maybe do $100 because I'm compounding my gains, right? So if you look here and we see what we have here at this point, back here in March 2024, we would have a total of 8.8293 Bitcoin, and we're selling 30% of that count. So 0.8293 times 30%. Nope, times 0.30 times 0.30. There we go. That's 24.879. And the price of Bitcoin at that time was about $77,300. So let's do that. 77,300 back in March. That's $19,231. Look, our 21,400 that we put in, we're only taking out 30%. It's almost what we put in out of pocket. That's all money coming back, and we still have 70% running on the market. But I've almost completely recuperated every dollar that I put in out of pocket. So I now can take this and roll this in to more DCA. And that's the whole point, is that you want to allow your money to compound, take profit gains to buy more cheaper and keep multiplying the number of Satoshis that you have, not just holding and watching it ride an up and down motion. Now, there is when you look at the second amount, which is a 50%, and so at that point you took out 30, then you took out 50 at the 8 level. If you got up into this 8 level, you would take out the other 50% of your token count. You can do just 20% there and go, okay, I have taken out and sold half of all of my tokens in wristband 7 and in wristband 8, and then keep the other 50% in there and have 50% of your tokens sold off to buy market bottoms again. But that's really on you. Me personally, I would rather get 80% out and start buying heavily again on those bottom levels and compound the number of the fraction of Bitcoin that I'm able to buy each cycle. So I will pass it back over to you guys. I think I talked enough. My throat is just dry from this desert air, man.
Absolutely. Let me just invite Buck in the chat. By the way, Buck, I gave you a little bit of a shout out today in the morning because you were shouting out or you were mentioning that Tuesdays are the best day to buy. And that's been consistent, by the way. Very, very consistent.
Yeah, with
We
some
have an
contractors, so that way we can, not have to get here.
I actually have a thing that shows you the best days to buy. Let's go here and do best day to DCA. There we go. And I need to update this for everything, but I'm gonna put this for the past 6 months. So we're gonna go in here, put this for 2024, and we're gonna go from December 1st. 2024, December 1st. To current. There we go. So looking at this, this is the Bitcoin for the last 6 months. Best day to DCA now is Saturday. Tuesday has been outperformed by Wednesday for the past 6 months. Yeah, which does not shock me because there's been several times that I didn't buy on Monday. I said, I'm going to wait for Bucks Tuesday. And then Wednesday comes along and I'm seeing more selling pressure. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to end up buying on Friday. And a couple of weeks in the past couple of months, that's really made that a thing. So looking right now, though, for the past 6 months, it's been Fridays and Saturdays. I'd rather do it because you're not going to get as much volatility from low volume market manipulation as on a weekend, on a Wednesday, as you would on a weekend, in my opinion. So let me check Ethereum, see what that one is. Saturdays have been Saturdays have been rally days, and that's why it's saying if you buy in the morning on a Saturday, it pumps away from your buy-in. So that's what it's talking about there. But yeah, that's what it is. OC looks preoccupied. He probably is. He's probably working at Chart Prime right now.
Sort of, but not that much. Just kind of like figuring something out in here.
Any other questions, or did I miss anyone's questions? If I did, retype it. I apologize. I was out in the hot desert sun, and I'm a little wavy today. It is hot as shit here, man.
How hot is it?
Well, it's 93, but with the dry air and the UV and the sandstorms, I just feel dehydrated. Like there's no humidity. It sucked all the moisture out of my body. So looking like the faces when they got hit by the ark, the lost ark,
right?
Indiana Jones. That's how I felt out there, man.
Nice. Well, if you're looking for another hot zone, we are at 109 and humid as a MF. I mean, we are like 85% humidity.
Dallas. I'm good, thanks. I'm gonna move to Dallas. I'm good, thanks.
All right. I see a question here.
I'm not retyping my basic question. Too much work. Okay, which one was it? Username, was it the one that says, what is the most effective way to construct a DCA crypto portfolio that leverages historical market cycles, emerging blockchain technologies, and macroeconomic trends to optimize long-term wealth accumulation while Jesus Christ, username, while mitigating risk from market manipulation and unforeseen black swan event? That, hey, if I figure that out, we're all going to be billionaires. Username.
There is a way, a simple way, which it doesn't need to involve that much of analysis at this point. We just look at for trend in history, which is gold and new upcoming assets. So, for example, let's do a little bit of a history lesson here. Massachusetts University hired an economist to give a class, and not only he gave a class, they asked him to make a that he proves the theory of his classes, right? So they gave me, I don't remember how much money they gave him. It was a lot by the time. I think comparable to $1 million now or something around that. And what he did is he only pushed two stable assets, and then after that he went for high risk assets. But the only thing that you need to understand it is that he was pushing to narrative and technology. All right, so nowadays they keep that portfolio. It is one of the most profitable in the world at this point. And here's two things to take on. First of all, do not push all of your eggs in the same basket. All right, we know that. So, and then if you want to consider everything, and that depends on how big of your time frame for holding will be. And I'm gonna be considering that it's a half midterm, so not your whole life, but also not just 2 years, right? We're talking about 5 to 10 years. We're gonna be looking for first the price of something stable, which is metals, something that needs to be used. By the way, I would be putting some into gold, some into silver, and much of it into copper. Why? Because copper is not because it's value, it's because it's value in the industry, right? Not so much as for gold. But at any point, you can change. It's much easier to change gold by Bitcoin. Sorry, copper by gold than anything else. The next thing it is high risk assets. What are the high risk assets? Aim to technology at this point. Bitcoin. What other emerging company is it there? Maybe something that we have talked about. Solar projects that harvest solar energy from the desert and push it over fiber optics to areas that are being needed, right? So something along those terms. And then put it into emerging technologies. The only thing with emerging technologies, you might have to cut out your gains short when they start making their parabolic movement. So that will be it. Basically, I would be saying 30% metals, 20% technology, that I'm referring to Bitcoin or anything around it, and then 50% is something very, very stable or very, very new, if that makes sense. So whatever you want to do. This is not a financial advice, but based on the nature of your question, which involves everything, we need to risk half of the capital, right? Because while risking half of the capital, it is like the previous cycle altcoin. You buy anything and you were basically guaranteed that pumped a little, right? So that other 50%, you're risking 50% of it, but you're trying to make at least a 20% back out of one single asset in 10 years, if that makes sense. So you should be willing to lose that 50%, but you're not planning to, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was my answer.
Interesting. I'm looking at this chart here from Into the Cryptoverse, OC.
Mhm.
And this is net percentage of domestic banks that are reporting stronger demand for commercial and industrial loans from large and middle market firms. Um, we've only had one period of positive demand since 2022.
Oh, shit.
Since July 2022, we have been in a negative demand except for this one little pocket, and it didn't even shoot up as high as what we have historically. Pretty crazy.
It is.
Demand levels for loans is low. It means nobody's trying to grow. It's down negative. It's negative 29.7% for the quarter. A lot of great stuff in this dashboard, man.
You only buy penny stocks. Ooh, nice. They can make me a million one day. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what actually this guy did. So he went all out, right? I mean, all in, sorry, with like huge risk. But the thing is that can you hold it through depression or recession? If the answer is yes, that's fine. If the answer is no, well
Yeah, but
then
if he's putting in a low enough amount that he says if it goes to 0, I'm fine. If he handles it like a small cap meme coin,
exactly.
it's already gone. If it's lost, it's lost. Then yeah, bongs for life. There he goes. I can hold forever. So there you go.
Nice.
Nope, remortgage my house. Username, stop it. You ain't remortgaging your house to buy penny stocks.
Have you seen? Have you guys seen AIXBT by Virtuals the past day?
I have not. OC, you want to pull that up?
Yep, absolutely.
AIXBT.
1 second. AIXBT.
It's still in the same range it's been in since 8 May.
Yeah.
Still below its value area high.
Here's the
Been
thing.
pumping over the week.
What's that? You chopped.
Oh, it's been pumping over the weekend. I've seen it go up around 180%, I guess.
On AIXBT?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, not from Sunday to now. It's only 27%.
I've been in since the beginning of the listing, so that's why maybe.
Yeah. It only went up 27% this weekend. And it's still in this range. It's still in this range that it's been in for about 2 weeks, or about a week now, I guess. Right here. Now, if it gets above this value area high, it's looking good. But right now, we did just print a bearish divergence downtrend, peak seeker, ribbons coming down, money flows coming down, volumes coming down. I expect to pull back on this. I expect the pullback to come down to about 16.8. And if it loses that, you're probably looking at the 50, which is about 12.3.
Okay,
which is still much
clear.
higher
Thank you.
than the bottom. Yep, still much higher than the bottom, but might give you some more opportunities to pick up more.
Yeah, I've been in it since the listing of it on Coinbase. So yeah, it was a nice gain for me. It went to a 27x for me.
Yeah, AIXBT is the one that OC and I talked about when we were talking about all the virtuals, and it was it had the highest accumulation rate with the lowest market cap. You remember all that on the live stream? That was AIXBT. Like what, 3 months ago?
Fair
OC?
enough.
Yeah, somewhere around that. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, at least.
Yeah, not a problem, bro. Not a problem. Buck said what? Buck's still waiting for $800 chain link. Oh my goodness. What else we got, OC? Anything else that we want to put out to the members today? Any questions from the members today?
Not so far. Everything has been there, unless anybody else has another question that we could be breaking down. I mean, we talked about today in the morning about oil getting its bull run, or getting back not into so lower areas, which is it's something to be considered. So yeah, I mean, also one thing that I think I did not cut neither from the news. Remember that you mentioned that China and US are cutting new rates, and they lower it by what was it, 115% now back?
125% and
125%,
100 and something percent, 110% maybe. I don't know. But yeah, they came to a deal this weekend.
And are we back at previous areas, or are we still higher from there?
What do you mean on tariff amount?
Yeah, on tariff amount.
It's still higher. It's still higher, and it's only for 90 days. So
Oh, got it. So it's only a little bit of a bread there. No, not really a long-lasting deal.
I do find it interesting though that we sold off this morning. I got the chart right here on my camera. We did sell off from that. And I said, guys, we got this rejection on the 887. Watch for that to come back down. 786, 101, 881. Look, candle closes. Candle closes. So if this does not get a bounce off of this 786 and push back up, guys, be careful. If we break below this and reject, then we could be looking a lot of fair value gaps down here. Fair value gap there, fair value gap there. So a lot of fair value gaps for this thing to push through. So but yeah, 786 holding for right now. So any other questions? Piper likes boiled ribs because he's very empathetic to his friends, and his buddy username has no taste in food. So he tends to eat boiled ribs in honor of username. So true story. By the way, about 2 weeks from now, we're going to be, who all here, is anyone here going to be in Vegas?
Nope.
Nope.
Yo.
Nope. Not me. Is, I know that. I'm buying ribs in the first round of drinks for all Piper Academy members at the beer park at Paris Casino, and some appetizers. That's about it. All right, next year. Yeah, that's where I'm staying at, is the Paris. Vegas is dangerous for a lot of people.
Vegas isn't dangerous. It's just fun. Quit being a bitch.
What?
No, Vegas can be dangerous for some people. There's some people that wreck their entire lives, marriages, kids, college money, everything in Vegas.
I mean, you say
they,
dangerous, I say fun.
Or sleep with the wrong person and carry baggage for the rest of their life.
You know what the difference between HIV and herpes is, right? Yeah, herpes forever.
Yeah. You can ask Magic Johnson. There's no problem with HIV anymore. No, I'm not referring to Buck. Buck talks a big game. He lives a pretty decently clean life. He is not the same shenanigan-filled crazy man as he used to be. He's settled down in his old age.
I'm old as hell and way calmer.
Imagine when he was wild.
He just likes to still talk. He's like a chihuahua now. A lot of bark, no bite.
About sums it up, honestly.
I know you pretty well by now, Buck. All right, guys. If nobody has any other questions besides ribs, Then we'll go ahead and hop out of here. I need to go take a shower. I'm salty and sandy, so which is no change to what Buck's used to. He's used to me being quite salty. So
LMFAO.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, that was funny.
all right, guys. OC, I appreciate you running this off. Guys, if you have any sweaty balls, it said sweaty balls. If anybody has any follow-up questions or anything, or they go look at this DCA stuff and they go, hey, what do I do with this, or why is this way on alts versus Bitcoin? Just let me know. You guys can tag me and I'll answer your question. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop out of here, and I will catch you all tomorrow morning. So
Absolutely, no
Good
problem.
morning.
there, guys.
Peace.